Welcome to day 3 of the Night Marathon before Christmas. For those of you just joining us, this is my 5-day marathon where I cover creepy, obscure, and disturbing topics all week until Friday. Today, I wanted to pay homage to one of my favorite psychological horror games of all time, Soma. We're going to run through the notable points in the story, explore the major themes that became evident throughout, and dive into why this game became one of my all-time favorites. Note that there will be spoilers in this, so if you plan on playing this in the near future and don't want major plot points spoiled for you, I'd click away now. If you've already played it, have no plans to play it, or don't care about spoilers, then you're in for quite a ride. With this being said, let's dive in. Soma is absolutely genius in so many ways. In the game, you take the role of a character living in Canada named Simon who was involved in a car crash that caused him brain damage. After this, you're able to assume control of him after he wakes up in his apartment. Immediately, you remember that you have a brain scan appointment with a man named David Munchie, who has informed you that he knows a method to reverse the scale of brain damage with the machine that he created. Everything seems all okay until we actually arrive at his building. Instead of being greeted by a receptionist and people, the place is in shambles and nobody's around. After poking around some, we encounter the back room where David is expecting us. After interacting with him, we then sit in a chair as he hooks a machine up to Simon, and after this we go unconscious. Then we wake up in an extremely lifeless and foreboding area that we come to know as Pathos 2. This marks the beginning of our journey to try to figure out what the hell happened, where we are, and where everyone's at. A very short while after this, Simon acquires a device that allows him to remotely remain in contact with someone named Catherine Chun. She tells him that the year is 2104, that there's no one left on Earth, and to meet her on Site Lambda. After hearing this grim news, Simon ventures through the hellscape to find Catherine, and eventually to reach the utopian endgame known as the Ark. But more on that later. What he discovers along the way is nothing short of compelling and entirely disturbing. One simple question serves as a single major theme throughout this game, and I want you to think about it as well. What does it mean to be human? Throughout Simon's journey, he encounters a plethora of mutilated life forms, robots, and humans themselves being kept alive by nothing more than structure gel.
Can I help?
It won't let me die. Nothing is allowed to die.
What happened?
An accident. Fixing the power. I was going to Theta.
Anything I can do?
If you see Masters or Holland, tell them I need help. Okay? Amy needs help.
This gel is a scientific breakthrough that gained popularity during the 100 years that Simon was unconscious. It's intended to merge organic life forms with a digital counterpart to allow the body to heal almost instantaneously. The catch is, since the gel has a digital counterpart, it has to have something controlling it. So what? This entity is known as the WOW, and it was created as the artificial intelligence system of Pathos 2. It not only controls the structure gel, but also all the hostile robots that Simon encounters throughout his trek. The WOW was not always this hostile being, however. It became corrupted through a loophole in logic when the programmers created this thing. It was designed originally to preserve the human race at all costs after a meteor had struck Earth, devastating the surface. This means that even if a human was dying, on their last leg, or nothing more than a near corpse, the WOW would still attempt to keep this human alive no matter what. This is displayed throughout the game in a manner that would absolutely floor you, since this entire situation had imploded on itself, causing this freak accident. Throughout his journey, Simon would encounter humans that were essentially dead, but with a heartbeat due to the WOW keeping them technically alive. It's an absolutely heartbreaking thing to see. As the game progresses, Simon begins to realize the fact that he isn't what he thinks he is, and this was so masterfully done. The first hints come after we complete Site Upsilon. Simon encounters hostile and corrupted robots, and on the brink of ending his life, the roof collapses and water fills the entire area. Much to his surprise, Simon wakes up completely fine, and after looking at his hands, they're not his hands.
What? What the hell? How is this possible? This is insane!
Fast forward quite a bit to a point where Catherine instructs us to switch bodies in order to make use of a power suit, and we're finally able to see our reflection. The Simon that we thought we were this entire time isn't a human at all. But we have full consciousness. We woke up here, we have an entire recollection of our entire lives. What the actual hell is going on? What are we? After this powerful moment, Catherine informs us that the Simon that we thought we were is dead. We are merely a copy that was brought over into this reality, whom had remained dormant for all these years.
What was that?
No, it's just...
Why was it still talking?
It's the same like before.
Catherine, why was he still talking?
That's how it works, you know that.
What do you mean?
You know it's not magic. You were copied. The sleeping Simon in the seat was copied, and now you are here, just like Simon lived on in Toronto.
God damn you, Kath. 2 Simons? There can't be 2 Simons.
What did you think would happen?
That you were gonna take my mind and put it into another body, like a brain transplant.
I'm sorry, it wouldn't work that way.
You realize how messed up this is?
Please, I didn't mean to upset you.
How did you expect me to react to this shit?
Please stop.
You're fucking disgusting. What's gonna happen to him?
He'll sleep for a while, a few days.
And then what? Wake up in this fucking nightmare again? All alone? So cruel.
Well, what do you want me to do with him? Make friends? Let him know that we have to leave him behind when we go into the abyss?
What if he didn't need to wake up?
The fate of the real Simon is hidden in one of the computer terminals, and we're then able to poke around a bit and come to terms with the fact that Simon died shortly after the brain scan. So, who are we? Catherine tells us that what happened with David back at the beginning was the dawn of a new technology. It was a means of taking a snapshot of your entire consciousness and memory and uploading it to a supercomputer. This consciousness could essentially be copied an infinite number of times, granting them the ability to create an infinite number of Simons. Once we eventually reach the point where we need to switch bodies and abandon the old one, Catherine explains to us that body switching carries with it the same luck as flipping a coin. When you copy your consciousness to another being, you have a 50-50 chance of transferring you as you exist right now to the recipient's body. If you're successful, then you'll continue to exist as the new body. If you fail, then the transfer will still be successful. However, you as you are now will still remain in the same body as the new you, with the same exact conscious state as you, carries on with their life, and in this case the mission, without you. Once we complete the body transfer, we end up being successful. However, the old Simon still remains in the old body. Catherine then gives you a moral choice of what to do here. Do you kill off the old Simon, or do you let him exist forever in this hell, lost and unable to die? It was moments like this that made Soma my favorite psychological horror game, and one of my all-time favorite video games to date. Jumping ahead once more, we eventually come in contact with Catherine, and she's... of course, she's a robot.
I'm right next to you.
No, not you too. I was really hoping you were human.
Don't let the circuitry fool you. I was human once.
Can't take it anymore. Everything's fucked. I give up. There's nothing left.
Calm down. It's not the end of the world.
You sure? It sure as hell looks like it. For all I know, there's no one left except for me.
What do you mean? I'm right here.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I meant any humans left except for me.
She was not at all what we were expecting, but can we really blame her? Anyway, Catherine keeps pushing the idea that Simon will be able to transfer his consciousness as it is now onto the Ark and live his life in an infinite utopia. However, he needs to take the necessary steps to launch it into space to prevent the WoW from corrupting it. The latter half of the game involves going through all the necessary steps to prepare the Ark for launch, all while avoiding these hellish robots and monsters that are tormenting and hunting you. To put it quite simply, the Ark is essentially a digital heaven and was created as a means to carry on the human race in a post-Earth setting. At the very end of the game, however, once we trekked through the entire game, avoided the monsters, realized Catherine's true form, prepared the Ark, and are ready to launch it, Catherine reminds us of something. We have a 50-50 chance of transferring our consciousness as it is now onto the Ark. If we fail, we will be stuck in this hell indefinitely as the new, copied Simon lives the rest of his life in complete harmony. We get strapped in. We prepare ourselves. Everything's about to get better and we're going to be able to live our lives as normal once more. Hell yeah! The countdown begins.
Time, 20 seconds.
What's the matter with the upload?
Just give it a second.
Thought you guys would have better bandwidth in the future.
10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6.
You gotta be kidding me!
4, 3,
Come on, load!
2,
Yes! Yeah, we made it! Woo! I'm still here. I'm still here. Catherine? Catherine?
I'm here.
What the hell happened? What went wrong?
Nothing. They're out there, among the stars. We're here.
No. We were getting on the Ark. I saw it. It finished loading just before it launched.
Yeah, I saw.
Then why are we still here?
Simon, I can't keep telling you how it works. You won't listen. You know why we're here. You were copied onto the Ark. You just didn't carry over. You lost the coin toss. We both did. Just like Simon at Omicron, just like the man who died in Toronto 100 years ago.
We lost the coin flip. We fell within the shit end of the odds. We're stuck here forever. And that's it. After this, we get to briefly play as the copied new Simon for the first time. This version of him believes that the transfer was successful, and he's completely unaware of his other consciousness that's still stuck on Pathos 2. This version gets to live in digital heaven while the other is stuck back on Earth. Forever. Now, imagine waking up in a futuristic world, completely unaware of anything that's happened to you prior, all because you were copied to another life form entirely. If this happened to you, and you realize that you were not who you thought you were, would you consider yourself human? Would you be able to fathom the idea that tens, if not hundreds of yous could be out there? A moral dilemma arises in the theme of this game, and it really makes you think and reconsider what makes us, us. Is it the flesh and bone? Is it the capability of emotion? With the rise of artificial intelligence and advanced technology, this concept almost becomes a real-world issue. It's completely mind-boggling, and the way that it was strung together in this game was phenomenal. My anticipation for this masterpiece was long drawn out. Their marketing team did a damn fine job at hyping this thing up with multiple cryptic trailers and even a side series dedicated to the story. The trailers were absolutely masterful and struck a sense of uneasiness and curiosity regarding what in the hell was happening. Take a look at some of these.
Can you hear me all right? I don't get it. Great. I think it just died on me. Hey, are you seeing? Oh, shit! You just... Fuck! Shut it down! Contain it now! Can you tell me your name?
Gulaski. Adam.
What is your function?
Function. Chief engineer at Kron. I support the bio guys.
Marital status.
I was married. Am married, technically.
Have a seat. Start when you're comfortable.
Hey there. How are you?
What the... This is incredible. We look so much alike. I'm looking into a mirror right now.
Yeah, if you say so. What's your designation?
My name's Adam Gulaski. That's what you wanted, right? My name? What's your designation?
Chief Engineer Adam Gulaski.
This is some sort of joke, right? Some sort of jape? I'm not your man for this kind of game.
Funny, I was just about to say the same thing. What were Dad's last words?
Are you serious? You're bringing up my father's death right now. That's off the rails, man.
Nobody knows about this. That it even happened. And this is something you can't just pull from the frame.
Don't let her go. He's laying there, dying, and the last thing he says to me, his last goddamn breath, he tells me to hang on to my wife.
Do you think maybe we could do this another time?
In Vivarium, we see a woman who approaches an ominous-looking TV screen. After booting it up, it eventually appears that she sees herself on screen. Once her behavior on screen strays from reality and starts acting its own, she freaks out and calls for containment. Was this a test version of the brain scans in the early stages? Or was this her consciousness in a false, digitized reality where the real her understood the torment that her copied self would go through as she's constantly being experimented with? With Mockingbird, we see a man asking a very outspoken robot a few questions. These questions reveal that this thing possesses what we know artificial intelligence today does not: a personality. In fact, it's almost as if this thing thinks that it's entirely human. Or is it someone's consciousness that's been transferred to it, causing it to be extremely pissed off since nobody's recognizing it for what he thinks he is: a human? The marketing team did a fantastic job with this and prepared us incredibly for what was to come. The themes all lined up, and after completion of the story, make perfect sense in hindsight. Soma was one of those games that really should have blown up far bigger than it did. It exceeded 450,000 copies in sales, but in comparison to blockbuster games such as Resident Evil 7, which has sold over 3.5 million copies, it just pales in comparison. Soma absolutely deserves as much recognition as RE7, and if you haven't played this gem yet, I highly recommend that you get out there, download it, and experience not only this incredible story, but the phenomenal visuals as well. Simon was simply a man who fell on some hard luck, got into an accident, and wanted to get a simple brain scan. This trek through hell is a far cry from his otherwise normal life, and along the way, he learned some major lessons regarding humanity and how it should carry itself in the future. No matter what though, and even after completion, we always have to answer, do we know what it takes to be human? Today, we explored Soma. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I look forward to giving you tomorrow's topic. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you all, and good night.